Evening, guys. Welcome to Soft Tip Central UK. Tonight we're going to be interviewing Jeff the Silencer Smith, all the way from Canada. We're going to be talking to him about the sort of soft tip game, how he's been playing it, his trip over here for Summer Series, and just to catch up with him and have a chat about basically how he got into the game and darts itself. So good evening, Jeff. How are you?
Not too bad, Daniel. How's things going?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. We're getting there slowly, just enjoying the coming out of the lockdown now, so everything's easing a little bit, so things are becoming a lot more relaxed, so it's nice to go and see friends and family and stuff. I understand you've been in quarantine now, so what's it, nearly 2 weeks?
Yeah, I've got 1 week in. I've got another week to go, so like I said, this time next week I'll be back to work, so it can't come soon enough. It's been a long stretch.
I can imagine. And obviously that's a reason you're in quarantine is because you came over to the UK and recently took part in the PDC Summer Series, which went extremely well for you. Had some great results against some really top-end players and really made a good account for yourself and Canadian darts over here during that week. Did you enjoy the experience? Was it a little bit strange with it all being quarantined and bubbled? How did you find the whole sort of scenario itself?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think the PDC did a fantastic job on how they went about it. Like I said, it was everything from the airport was pretty easy going. There wasn't many people in the airport, hardly anybody on the plane. And once I arrived, manager picked me up, took me straight to the hotel, checked in, got tested, and then, like I said, once we were in that area, we had a bar, a restaurant, everything as far as that goes, and really the darts spoke for themselves. I think everybody was itching to go, and there were some good darts thrown by a lot of people this weekend or that weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome to finally to sort of be able to pick up the live streams and watch darts on the telly again and just see sort of people, how they were interacting on the oche was really different as well. The distancing thing, the elbows and sort of no shaking hands and stuff. It must have been quite an interesting sort of situation to have been in, to sort of want to be able to congratulate somebody for a great game of darts and not being able to physically sort of give the same gestures as you would normally. Was that sort of a hard thing? Did you find it easy? Was it sort of different for you guys?
Yeah, it's exactly that. You lose a game or you win a game and you turn around and expect to give the fist bump or whatever, and then realize, oh, I'm not allowed to do that. So you kind of refrain from doing it. But like I said, overall, I think it was handled extremely well, and hopefully they can get a couple more of those in.
Awesome. Yeah. So with the match play this week as well, it's sort of all weird being behind closed doors with the crowd music and the crowd noise involved. A lot of the players, some find it easier, some are finding it harder. I imagine for sort of the sort of lower ranking players that aren't constantly on the stage every single week in, week out in the Premier League, does that crowd sort of atmosphere at places like the Ali Pali and the big sort of stadium matches, does that really affect you? Is it quite daunting being up there, and would the lesser ranking guys possibly fare better without that there in the match play? Do you think it could even things up a bit?
Yeah, you've seen it time and time again. There's a lot of great floor players and stuff, and that have qualified, and I think they've made a good account of themselves this time. But obviously, it's a different scenario, different set of nerves. But at the end of the day, they still have to win their match. And like I said, if the best players are still the best players, they should be winning. And like I said, if not, then like I said, there's an excuse there, but most of them wouldn't be using it.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody could use it as an excuse. Everybody's under the same sort of scenario and the same conditions. So I've got a few questions to throw at you. So obviously we can see on your shirt there that you're sponsored by Windmill. You're a signature player of theirs with your own darts, and you just recently brought out your Gen 2 darts, I believe, or you're designing them currently at the moment.
Yeah, actually, it was just more in talks on the second design. Like I said, the first design's gone so well for them. It started off, I was gonna have a 23 gram dart, and turned into 4 different classes of weights and a soft tip. And like I said, the proof's in the pudding, I guess. Over the last few years I've been with them, the sales have been great, and like I said, I've had a lot of support. So can definitely thank Windmill for the support that I've got from them for the last few years.
Awesome. And is that what made you go over to Windmill? Were they very supportive from the start? Was there a lot of interaction there, or is it a brand that you've sort of used throughout your career? Have you always been a Windmill darts user, and is that what sort of dragged you across to those guys, or was it sort of the attention and basically the way they treated you? Is that what sort of persuaded you to go with that brand? Because I know a lot of players get approached by a lot of brands to become an ambassador for them. So was that part of the reason why you went across to Windmill?
Yeah, it's undisputed. They make the best dartboard in the world when it comes to a steel tip. Uh, it was pretty easy choice as far as going with them. I just like the way their family orientation is. You know what I mean? When once you're with them, you're with them. You're a lifer basically, and they're great people. They treat their players with the utmost respect, and you couldn't ask for but more in a company. I've had lots of offers, obviously, over the last few years, just based on the results that I've had. But like I said, it was a no-brainer when they offered to renew the contract. It was, how long do you want me, and where do I sign? So
Yeah,
I'm very happy to extend with them.
wicked. That's absolutely brilliant. At what point did you, when you were playing darts, obviously growing up, and you were sort of going possibly around pubs and clubs, at what point did you realise I could make a career out of this? When did you sort of think to yourself, this is it, I can do this, I can make this a professional career, and I can earn some money doing this?
Yeah, I obviously I started off in the youth program here in Canada, which is top drawer as far as the world's concerned. As far as the program, they have a provincial title or provincial championships, and each province sends a team off to the nationals, which I played for since I was 14 till I was 19, basically. Took me, I think, probably 8 years before I won my first adult ranking tournament. I was always in the mix and just didn't have that confidence to get over the line. But when I got one, then look out, because then that was when I started playing well. I didn't lose too many after that for the next quite a few years. So that I decided at the end of that I'd take a crack at Q school just because I was playing so well. Got through, but just wasn't in a financial position to be able to entertain it. So it's been a great scenario, but I'd say probably since I was probably mid-20s or so, that's when I knew I could really play the game, and like I said, everything's just kind of fitting in part of the puzzle up from then till now. So
That's pretty awesome. So what format did you start playing? Did you start with steel and then sort of go across to soft tip, or did you sort of start playing soft tip darts and then get introduced to steel? I mean, how did it work for you? Because I know you do play a lot of soft tip, and you've been playing quite a bit sort of recently. I've been speaking to people like David Cameron, who plays a lot of soft tip, and a lot of sort of people in Canada and America. It is kind of a dominant format for darts in that area of the world. So did you start playing soft tip, or were you a steel tip player originally?
no, I was 100% steel. Had no interest in playing soft tip at all, and got approached by Rick Smith and Catherine Haycock from Maximum Darts, and they said, "Would you be interested in bringing some machines down there?" So we had the Bull Shooter G3 machines, and I said, "Yeah, why not? You know what I mean? We could put them in." Said you can qualify for this kind of stuff, and I instantly went over to the TOC there in Kansas City, and the tournament pays like 1.8 million Canadian, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me! Like, this is a thing." So I instantly decided I'd have to get good at soft tip real quick, and
Yeah,
and
definite
like
money
I said,
spinner.
been playing it ever since. So I play leagues through Maximum Darts, and they have their own national system now. Like I said, unfortunately, the last couple of years I haven't been able to participate in the TOC, but just with obviously with PDC and whatnot, we're streaming issues. So, but yeah, I've really enjoyed it. What I like about it more than anything is that it levels the playing field with handicapping, and you know what I mean. It's just you play at your own level, and there's so many levels versus steel tip. You know what I mean? A, B, C divisions, what you get here for steel, and soft tip there's 18 divisions. So, and doesn't matter if you're 18th or number one, you can make the same amount of money, which is quite appealing to a new player.
Yeah. So I mean, how did you find the transition between the two? I mean, I get a lot of people on my page and on the Nexus groups and the different groups that we belong to sort of help promote soft tip in the UK, that they find transitioning from the steel board to the soft tip board really, really difficult. But they also find it a lot harder to then go back to steel tip. Do you think that's because of the size of the segments? Because I've noticed that the segments on the Nexus board that I use are absolutely huge in comparison to my steel tip board. So did you find the transition between the two difficult, or was it easy for you to make that jump from one to the other and then back again?
Yeah, like I said, I'm more of a precision player when it comes to steel tip. So the actual adaptation to soft tip was not very hard. It was a lot bigger target. It was a little bit further back, but like I said, it made it up with the size of the segment. So I had a lot of cricket experience. Friend of mine, Steve Foster, back when I was youth, I've grown up playing cricket, so I already knew exactly what I needed to do as far as strategy wise. So like I said, it was pretty easy transition, and like I said, with soft tip, you're so used to hitting everything. It's not a game about what you hit; it's about what you miss. And
Yeah.
like I said, that's what it comes down to. So you get used to hitting everything. When I go back to play steel tip, I actually use it as a confidence booster.
Awesome. I mean, I may have to pick your brains for some tips on cricket because I've just entered a cricket league over here. So I'm going to be messaging you afterwards to find out what your strategies are so I can carry them forward. So you do you have a soft tip board at home? Do you have a specific board that you use or that you tend to practice on soft tip wise?
Yeah, I've got a couple of different options there. I used the Dark Connect board there for a little while, and then the Nexus. I do have one here at the house that the wife uses, obviously. But if Winmow had one, I would obviously be using theirs. But I enjoy playing online and just getting to interact with people, obviously from all over the world, and that's quite appealing. We have a Grand Three board at the shop, so there's always an option on any system that I can get on and play.
Awesome. Well, we've got the UK is mainly saturated by the Target Nexus board, obviously, because the integrated system over here makes it just so much more appealing for somebody to have in their living room without having to have like the additional tablet that you have to have underneath it, and you have to cast from the board to the tablet for a wire, different bits and pieces like that. To have it all integrated, that's a really popular system over here. So what attracts you to, do you have a favorite? Do you have a specific board that you sort of gravitate to that you find more appealing to you?
Yeah, it wouldn't be a home board. I'd much rather go to the pub and play on the bull shooter G3 board. That's what I'm used to. It's a lot more realistic as far as a traditional board. It has the same color segments that a regular steel tip board would have, so I find it quite easy to actually shoot at. But that's 90% of my play would be through the leagues, through maximum darts is on the G3s.
Awesome. I'm yet to use one of those. I think I'm going to a bar. We have like a pub down on the southeast coast in a place called Hastings near where I live, and they've got some darts live boards down there. So I'm going to get to experience that a lot more in the future. Do you think that it will change people's opinion? Because a lot of people think soft tip darts in the UK, they call it fake darts. Do you think worth playing on a big machine like those ones that you find in the pubs, do you think that will change people's opinion of the game, or do you think you'll still get, will it convert more people? Do you think
Yeah,
if they were to get the chance to play on those?
I find soft tip is different in many ways. It's yes, it's darts, but it's a completely different animal. Like I said, strategy is obviously one huge thing that you learn once you're competing properly. Then the game actually becomes quite fun. Like I said, it all comes down with soft tip. It's not about what you hit; it's about what you miss, and you learn that really quickly. So you know what I mean. You take a player like Boris Kretschmar from, you know what I mean, overseas. He's 6-time world champion, and like I said, on steel tip, it's a different game. But I would put him against any player in the world, and he's going to be competitive to beat, whether professional in the PDC or where not, right? But it's a completely different game altogether from steel, but it's good and it's good for the right reasons.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed that. I mean, I used to, everybody that plays steel tip, you aim for treble 20. It's what you do. It's the only logical thing to do to get the maximum points for the sort of largest area of target. Whereas on steel tip, I find it, if you don't shoot for bullseyes, you're crazy. There's no point in sticking to the 20s. I mean, when you've got such a large target that's worth such a large amount of points, it's a completely different game. It's completely changed the way I think about how I play darts, think about how I'm leaving out shots. So if I've got 69 left, I wouldn't be going for a treble. I'll be going for a single 19, just so I can leave that massive, big, large area smack bang in the middle of the board. So yeah, it's completely changed my perspective of how to play a game of darts. And I think that's what a lot of people are finding hard in the UK, because soft tip has never ever really even registered in this country until the pandemic hit. And then the pandemic hit and people weren't able to go to the pub and play darts. They weren't able to communicate with their friends as they normally would on a Friday night. So the sale of Nexus boards has gone through the roof. I mean, you're talking, there's over, I think, something like 600 people that own Nexus boards in their own home in the UK, and that's just in the UK now. When I first got mine, I think there was about 78. So since this pandemic's hit, a lot more people I find are using soft tip boards, and I think that's what they find difficult with that transition, is just having that, being able to change their mindset to embrace a completely different game.
Yeah, it's the steel tip players. It's constant. I've seen it myself. I go online and you play an 0-1 game and their first darts are at the triple 20, and I'm thinking you just don't understand because it's not the way. It's not the proper way to play. If you're playing against a player of a high quality, then yeah, sometimes you have to try to shave those darts, hit a 150 and then take out a 180, 171 combination on a 501. But they, for the most part, people just fire away at the 20s, and you don't realize how easy they are to beat
Yeah,
because of the,
I've noticed that my PPD since I switched down to balls, because I was stubborn at the start. I was stubborn myself, and I was like, "What's the point? I'm not going to go for bullseyes. Oh, it's cheating. You can't go for a bullseye, hit 25 and score 50 points." And then I thought, "Hold on a minute. This has been designed like this for a reason." And I just started hitting the bullseyes, and my PPD has gone up. I'm sort of winning more games in my league games, and it's becoming more of an enjoyable thing for me instead of sort of seeing it as a negative thing. I'm sort of seeing playing bullseyes as a positive thing. The only trouble I find now is when I go back to playing steel tip. When I hit the top of the board, I'm all over the place. but on the bullseye, I could just sit on there all day now and just score 25s and 50s, and I'll probably still win a few steel tip games. But I was very stubborn, but now I've sort of relaxed my attitude towards the game. I'm really enjoying it a lot more, and I really recommend that people try sort of hitting the bullseyes as opposed to the 20s, and they'll see that it's a much more fun game to be had. What do you find the animations and all of the interaction that you get from a soft tip board? A lot of people tell me that they find it distracting and they find it sort of gimmicky, but to me that's all part and parcel of an American and sort of an Asian custom, sort of that's what they do. Everything is so very much more interactive over there, and it's less sort of static, whereas the UK have a very sort of static attitude to games. Sort of with the steel tip, it is very sort of, you chalk it, you write it up on a board, etc. But these things do everything for you, and the animations are there. Do you find them distracting? Do you think that there's a valid point there, or do you think it's just all part and parcel of the big soft tip package?
yeah, and the home game style, I usually end up finding myself, I hit the button and pass on the video animation. But like I said, when you're out in a club where there's a bunch of people that don't normally play darts, and you see this machine blinking and flashing and whistles and everything else coming out of it, then it attracts attention, and that's doing exactly what it's meant to do. Like I said, the biggest thing when I was in Japan for the WDF World Cup, we went out to a soft tip bar, and same thing. We went into a club on a Sunday night and thought we were lost at the first time, and decided we go up, knock on the door. They let us in, and there had to be 400 people in this bar on a Sunday night, all playing soft tip machines. We had to wait for a seat to get in, and it, like I said, the lights and the flashing and the music and everything else, it's just a very entertaining culture, and I definitely see why they do it.
It's really fun. I mean, my kids love it. I mean, I've got four kids and they absolutely love it. My two youngest ones, they sit in front of me when I'm throwing on the hockey, and they're sitting, because I cast to a TV, and they just sit staring at the screen waiting for the graphics to come up, and they love it and they think it's really good, and the noises, and they sort of laugh and giggle when it all comes up. So I just think the whole package is something that we've been missing over here, and I think it's really, really good to embrace it in the UK. And it's good to be able to speak to people that have been playing soft tip for a very long time, and get their opinion on how good it is, and what big benefit it can have to sort of like your pubs and your clubs. And it's just another avenue for people to come in and spend money in your establishment. And I just think if every pub in the country had one, this country would be soft tip mad, the same as they are in Asia.
Yeah, the biggest thing that you got to remember, and that it scares a lot of people away because it does cost to play games, but when are you going to get to play somebody in Manchester, England against somebody in Texas, USA? You know what I mean, for a pound or less. You know what I mean, for a game of darts. The biggest thing, and that's why there's so much money behind it, is because you put money into it in order to play it. So it's six of one, half a dozen of the other. It is an expense when you're out in the clubs, but it's also a lot of fun, and it does pay in the long run if you're considering playing professionally or in tournaments wise. Definitely.
Yeah, because we've got a guy that plays on our Nexus community. His name's called Will Abs. He's got like his Nexus name is Maverick. I've never ever seen anybody play darts like this kid. That he is unreal on that Nexus board. He's hitting sort of 50.1 PPDs every other game. He's phenomenal at what he does. But people like that, a boosting and giving people hope that, you know, I can be as good as him if I just practice. I personally really enjoy it. I'm never going to be good enough to take up darts professionally, but I just love the soft tip community. I love the way that everybody is really welcoming, very, very honest. It's just a nice community to be a part of. And I just hope that it grows in the UK. And like I say, hearing from people like yourself of how you've played it for so many years and you've built up great friendships through playing it. And it's really good, and it's really sort of enlightening to hear that. But getting back to the steel tip side of things, obviously we've had confirmation that the Worlds are going to be going ahead this year at the Ali Pali. And what are your thoughts on that? Are you looking to be playing this year, or is it something you're going to be coming over for?
I hope so. Like I said, I've probably close to qualified now with just on the results that I've had this year so far. Like I said, obviously the PDC, it's a performance basis. If you're performing well, you're going to start qualifying for various TV events. So, like I said, the match play was a kind of an outside chance for me through the Summer Series. But like I said, I'm close to the Grand Prix. I know I'm playing the World Cup for Canada. And like I said, there's lots of options and potential. It's just a matter if they can get the events in order to qualify for these. So yeah, definitely, hopefully be in all of them with any luck.
Awesome. That would be wicked. It'd be great to see you on the TV. So regarding the World Cup, who are you looking at? Who's going to be joining you? Who do you think the odds on is that's going to be joining you in that World Cup?
Yeah, it's for me. I think it's down to about 3 players. Like I said, they use a CDC qualifying here in North America, but unfortunately they're in the same boat. They haven't had any events this year, so it's a 2-year order of merit. So if they do, it's probably going to rely back to either Jim Long, Matt Campbell, outside chance, possibly Kylie Edmonds if they get back playing. I know Kylie's throwing some big darts right now too, so it's really, it doesn't make any difference. I'm good friends with all 3, or whoever else it may be. If they do happen to get in, I'm more than happy to play with any of them. Canada has lots of talent, so. Yeah,
I've noticed there's a heck of a lot of really, really talented players. And also, so how do you think you're going to fare in that World Cup? I mean, what's your aspirations going into that? I mean, are you looking to sort of spearhead and just try and hit it hard and get through as many rounds as possible? And what do you think, or your chances of how you're going to do in that World Cup?
Yeah, the World Cup's a very different format because you start off playing a pairs event, then it splits after you advance into a round or two. Then you get in singles and then to pairs if you have to use it to get through. So you just have to try to survive the first couple of rounds, and then you can get yourself into the tournament from there. But it comes down to depth, and that's one thing Canada we have a little bit of. They've done well the last few years. I know I played with John before in that event, and I really, really enjoyed it. So hopefully with any luck, you just get off to a good start, hit some doubles, and you can do some damage.
Awesome. I mean, I find that pairs darts is always a little bit more difficult for me because I tend to lose my rhythm a bit, where I'm sort of waiting for 3 turns before I can throw a dart again. Do you find that you go cold after a while? I mean, do you find you lose your rhythm playing doubles?
One thing that's with Canada, that's all we play here. I don't play a singles league when I'm here. I play a local city league, and it's double in, double out, and it's all pairs. So we play play 10 or 8 to 10 on a team, and we play 3 boards, 18 games a night on each board. So you get 6 rounds of pairs, and we all fight to sit out. You know what I mean? We all enjoy it. Good friendships, and so we're used to playing that style of game.
That's really interesting. That's good to know. I didn't know that. That's news to me. It's enlightening. But no, thank you so much for joining me this evening. Thank you so much for coming on and speaking to us at Soft Tip Central UK. We are always happy to speak to people that have sort of an added knowledge and another insight into the soft tip game. So thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Hopefully we'll catch up with you when you've won the Grand Prix, and then we'll contact you again when you've won the Worlds. And then we just talk to you in the new year when you've got all these big trophies that you can show us on the live stream.
That sounds good to me. I wouldn't mind at all. Thank you very much for having me, Daniel. Appreciate it.
No problem at all. It's been lovely to speak to you, Jeff, and we'll speak to you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Take care. Bye.
Cheers.